Solomon is served a drink laced with something, and he is subsequently imprisoned in a restaurant. He pleads with them to let him go, but they tell him that he is no longer a free man. He is now a runaway slave from Georgia. They strip him of his identity, begin calling him Platt, and when he resists, they beat him severely until he loses consciousness again. When he regains consciousness, he finds himself tied up in a wagon with other captives. He realizes that he has been sold into slavery. A while later, they arrive at a port where preparations are being made to transport slaves to the south. Solomon and the other captives are crammed onto a ship. The conditions on the ship are horrific. The men are chained in a dark, filthy hold, while the women suffer abuse at the hands of the crew. During the journey, a white crew member attempts to assault a young black girl. When a fellow captive tries to protect her, the crew member stabs him to death in front of everyone. This becomes a painful reality for Solomon, that he is no longer considered a human being, but a commodity whose life can be taken at any moment. The enslaved people are taken to be sold. Solomon is now called Platt. Solomon keeps saying his real name is Solomon Northup, but each time he is slapped and told to be quiet. A man named William Ford buys Solomon. Ford is a kinder slave owner compared to others. Solomon starts his life as a slave on Ford's land. There he meets a cruel overseer named John Tibeats, who is jealous of Solomon's skills and intelligence. One day, Tibeats attacks Solomon, but Solomon defends himself and hurts Tibeats. Tibeats gets very angry and threatens to kill him. A few days later, he returns with 2 men, attacks Solomon again, and hangs him from a tree. Solomon stands on his toes for hours to stop himself from dying. No one dares to help him. Finally, Ford arrives and cuts him down. He knows Tibeats will try to kill Solomon again, so he decides to sell him. Solomon is then sold to a harsh and cruel cotton plantation owner named Edwin Epps. Solomon lives a hard and painful life as a slave. Many years pass, and he starts to lose hope of ever being free. One day, a Canadian carpenter named Samuel Bass comes to build a house on the farm. Bass is against slavery and speaks about it openly. Solomon decides to tell him the truth, that his real name is Solomon Northup, and he was a free man who was kidnapped and sold into slavery. Bass believes him and promises to help. He writes a letter to Solomon's friends in New York. Many months pass with no answer. Solomon feels hopeless, but Bass keeps trying and sends another letter. One day, while Solomon is working in the fields, a group of men arrives. One man calls him by his real name, Solomon Northup. This man is Henry B. Northup, a lawyer and a distant relative of Solomon. He brings papers that prove Solomon is a free man. Epps is angry, but he can't stop them. After 12 years of pain and slavery, Solomon finally gets his freedom back.